Hello everyone, in this video I'll be solving Cambridge AS Level Information Technology Paper 2 Practical for the year October-November 2022. I'll be doing database task which starts from step 6 till step 5. It is video editing which is already done and uploaded. You can find the link in the description. You will design a database about students and their classes. Each student studies 4 subjects and is only in one class per subject. The timetable for each subject is currently stored in the separate file. These files will be merged to a single file for importing into a database which is normalized. Open the files. So we have to open these files. Analyze the contents of these files. So we have all the files here. So you can see this is the English file. Next we have the science file here, the maths file, and the IT file is shown here. Place in your evidence document screenshots of the method you use to manipulate the contents of N22 English.csv so that it has the same layout as the other 3 files. So if you look at the other files, this is the science file, the math file and the IT file. All these are similar. If you look at this, you can see the class is shown as the first column. Then we have session 1 room column is there and session 1 teacher column is there. Same way session 2 room, session 2 teacher is there, and there are 4 sessions like that. So all the files science, math and IT have the same format. Now if you look at the English file, you can see the class is arranged in horizontal manner. The session room and session teacher are also arranged in horizontal manner. So we need to change this into the same layout like other files. So we just need to copy this data and paste it as transposed values. That means the rows will become columns and columns will become rows. So let's copy this. Copy. And let's paste it here. When you are pasting, you have to choose the transpose option so that it is pasted in the required layout. We need to provide screenshots for the method you used. So in order to provide a proper screenshot, you can just right click, use paste special, and make sure the transpose is ticked here so that the method is shown. So you can take a screenshot from here. And this is step 6 evidence. Now let's remove this. So this is the required format. You need to save this file as N22 English 1. So let's save this file, save as, inside your folder, N22 English 1, and it must be CSV. So save this. Next, merge the files N22 English 1, IT, Math and Science, and we have to save it as N22 timetable.csv. So open a new file. Let's copy the data from the English file. We are going to merge it. So we don't need a separate names for this. We'll give a single name. So let's copy first. So instead of repeating the session names as a separate row, I will give S1 room, and this will be S1 teacher. Next is S2 session 2, so S2 room and S2 teacher. The field names we are giving in that way so that it will be easier to import into the database and for normalization. S2 teacher. Now third one is S3 for session 3. And S4 for session 4. So these will be the field names in the new file which we are going to create. Now we just need to copy the data from each file. So these are the data from English file. Now let's copy the data from math file. Then from science file. And from IT file. So all the data are copied. Now you need to save this as n22 timetable.csv. So file, save as n22 timetable, and it must be a CSV file. So make sure the format is CSV. Open the files n22 student, n22 timetable, analyze the contents of these files, create in your evidence document a physical entity relationship diagram to design the database to third normal form using only this data. So you can close all other files except n22 timetable and student. We can close all the files. So this is the timetable file and this is the student file. So if you look at both the files, these are the details of the student. Student number is given for name, surname, and the subject names or the class names are given here. If you look at the timetable, you can see the room, session and teacher for each class is shown. So the class, here the class is shown for each subject. Here you can see it is in the student file which is shown in all these columns. So we have many classes here and you can see so for the first normal form, we know that each item must be atomic and there should be no repeating groups. So here you can see all the items are atomic. Let's make sure the field names are short and consistent. So all the fields are atomic and we don't have any repeating groups in this file. N22 student, same way N22 timetable. We need to make all the field names consistent. And in this file also all the items are atomic and we don't have any repeating groups. So the conditions for first normal form are satisfied. For the second normal form, we need to make sure each table has a primary key. So in this table, timetable, you can see class will be the primary key. You can check this is unique values by just going to conditional formatting and highlight cell rules for duplicate values. So if any duplicate value is there, it will be highlighted. So class is the primary key in timetable, and we need to also check whether we can split this table. So we cannot split this table because all the data are related to the class. If you check the student table, the primary key is people number, which is the student ID. We can give this a better name, student ID. Forename, surname, and the classes are given here. So the data is applicable for each student, so this data also we cannot split. And since the relationship one-to-many relationship is not possible, we need to create a link table which will be used to link both tables. So the table cannot be further split. So in order to make the data to be in third normal form, we need to make a link table. So I'm going to use a link table. So in the link table, we'll add the primary keys. So for the link table, I'll give an ID. Then the primary key of both the tables, student ID and class. So you can see here each student has four different classes. So we need to consider all the data for all the student data for the 4 particular classes. So in the link table, we will be copying the student ID and class for English, then all students again attending math class, IT class and science class, so that we have the combination of student ID and class, and then we'll be able to link to the class file as well as the student file. So first let's copy the student ID. So each student will be taking 4 classes. So we need to copy the student ID 4 times to the new link table which we are creating. So I'll paste the student ID here. This is 1 time. Second time I have pasted. Third. And 4th time. This is done so that each student combination is obtained by showing the different classes from here. Now let's copy the class codes for English. So I'll paste it here. Now we have to copy the class codes for the next subject. Next, the class code for the next subject is and the next one science we have to copy and then paste it here. Let's give the ID, the sequence. So there will be totally 796 records in the link table. So let's save this, save as. I'll name the link table as student class and it will be a CSV file. So now we can create a one-to-many relationship from student ID to student ID in student table and from the class to the class in the class table. So the link table is ready. Now let's save this as student. And next let's save this as timetable. So all our tables are ready, which can be related. Now creating your evidence document, a physical entity relationship diagram to design the database. You can see that there are three types of ER diagrams: physical, conceptual and logical. In conceptual ER diagram, we just need to show the field names and the relationship between the entities. So this is an example of conceptual ER diagram which shows the field names, the table name, the type of relationship and the details like primary key, foreign key, etc. But if it's a physical ER diagram, we need to show these details as well as the data needs. That means we need to show the data types and the field length for each data. So let's design the ER diagram, and you can see that the one-to-many relationship is represented by this notation. So let's do that in your evidence document using shapes. And the entities will be represented using rounded rectangles. So I will insert a rounded rectangle here. So the first table is the student table. Now we have to add the field names of student table inside this. So in order to get the field names, let's go to the student table. To copy it easily, I'll just copy this and transpose it here. Now you can copy and paste it as text. Now if you look at the data, this can be either alphanumeric or text. Surname is text. Now we need to give the field length. So for student ID, you can see the maximum number of characters is 3 here. So let's give 3. This is alphanumeric, or we can write it as text itself, or numeric. Any data type can be used because it's number. For name, we can give 15 characters, and surname an approximate 15 characters. Now if you look at the class codes, all the class codes have 3 characters. And student ID is the primary key. Now let's insert the next table, which is the link table, or the name is, we have given the name as student class. Remove this from here because we will be importing this into the database. So you can save the student file now. Now go to the link table, which is the student class table. We have 3 fields here. Transpose it as we did before. Now paste it as text. Paste as text. ID you can give as numeric. Student ID is text because I gave text here, so we can use text here also. And classes text. Now ID maximum 3 characters are there. Student ID also 3 characters. Classes also 3 characters. Now in this table, ID is the primary key. Student ID is the foreign key, and class is the foreign key. Now the next table, which is the timetable. Let's copy this data, transpose. Paste as text so that editing is easy. In this table, all the fields are text. and we have the class is again 3 characters. The rooms are maximum 2 characters, and all the S1 teacher code is also 3 characters. This is 2. So room is 2, teacher 3, and class is the primary key. Now let's create the relationship. In order to create the relationship, I will use a line like this. Draw a line like this. Let's bring the line to the front. Now select all these 3. On shape format, you can group it. So now this is one figure. This is the notation for one-to-many relationship. This is a one-to-many relationship. I have copied one more. So here you can see there is a relationship from one-to-many relationship from student to student class, and so the relationship is from student ID to student ID, and there is a relationship from class to class, that means from the timetable to student class, one-to-many relationship. So this is the required ER diagram. This is our step 8 evidence, so just add here step 8. Next we need to use your entity relationship diagram and the data files opened in step 8 to create a relational database normalized to third normal form, enforce referential integrity in all relationships. So you need to open access, and it should be saved as THS followed by your center number and candidate number. So let's create a blank database. Select your examination folder. The name is THS followed by your center number and candidate number. Create the database. Now let's close all the tables. Now you can close this table. Let's import the file. Go to external data, new data source, from file, text file. So first let's import the student table. Click next. First row contains field names. Next. Choose the primary key. The student ID is the primary key. Click on advanced and make sure the data types are set. So in student table we have set all the data types as text. So let's give the text here. Okay, click next and finish. Let's import the next table. Which is the student class table. Choose the primary key. Primary key is the ID. Student ID must be text. We have set the ID as numeric, so let it be long integer here. And class is also text. Give OK. Now next table, the timetable. Here all the data are text again. The primary key is the class. All of them we had set as text, so change it to text. Give OK. So we have all the three tables here. Now let's set the field size for each table. So go to the design view. We have set student ID as the primary key. Student ID, we have set it as text and 3 characters. So the field size we can set it as 3. For name we had given 15 characters in the ER diagram. So let's give the same here. Surname 15 and English, Math, IT, Science, all of them are 3 characters. So let's change each one so that it matches the field size in the ER diagram. Next, go to student class, go to design view. ID is a number, so field size will set it as a long integer. Student ID, again text, that is 3 characters. Class is also 3 characters. Now go to the next table, design view. All are text and all of them are, room is 2 characters and teacher is 3 characters. Class is 3 characters. Room is 2. Teacher 3. Teacher is 3. Again room 2 characters. Here it is 3. So now let's create the relationship. Go to database tools, relationships, add all the tables. And this is the link table. We can keep it in between. So from student ID to student ID, there is a one-to-many relationship. And they have asked you to enforce referential integrity. So enforce referential integrity here, create. Same way from class to class we have one-to-many relationship. So drag from class onto the class on this table and enforce referential integrity, create. So the relationship is created. You can save the relation. So this is the end of database task. The video editing task is already uploaded. You can find the link in the description. Thank you for now.